Hi, my name's Greg. I'm a medical health scientist from the School of Health Science, and we're going to have a look at some of the things that happen when you watch your favourite movie, play computer games, take in information that's visual, so you're looking and you're seeing. What are the processes involved with that? What are the organs that are involved to make those images display on your brain and you can make sense of them? So if we have a look at the eye, it's the obvious first organ that's responsible, and we've got two of them, so we've just got one here. Now the eye is responsible for a number of jobs. So if we look at the outside layer, we can see tear production glands, we can see protection through eyelids, but if we take that off, we really start to see the eye in its proper form for its process of taking in light and turning it into images on your brain. So firstly, how do you move your eyes to make sure that you're casting your eyes on the right place? So you can see there's a number of skeletal muscles attached, and they're quite well-trained skeletal muscles, so they're very precise. There's 6 of them for each eyeball, and they're able to train your eye to various points in the room to make sure your eye is focused on the point of most interest. So the skeletal muscles, 6 in total, drive your eye movement to the right portion of the room. Once the eyeball's facing that correct location, and both of them are, then the job of capturing the image comes into play, and there's a number of things that we can go through there. So if you look at the front of the eye, what we associate with that most is the colour of someone's eye. Okay, so the iris. Now, really that's not the capturing. The capturing occurs in the middle, or the pupil, and so you can see a small opening here. Now if you may have noticed that size of the pupil, the darker portion, can be quite small in highlight, or quite large in dark light. So it's quite reactive to make sure the optimal amount of light is coming in to the eyeball. But what happens once you're inside? Once light passes through the pupil, and if we start to take the layers off, what we can see is that there are several jobs to do. Once light enters the pupil, we can see that there's a clear structure called the lens, and so I can lift that out and you can see that there. And the lens's job is to take the light that's being captured by the pupil and move that light to the back wall of the eye. And so what it's doing is the lens is also changing shape to best optimize the light coming through. If I turn the eye around, you can see that it is three-dimensional, and you can see that light will be moved from the front, where the lens is, to the back. And light will be then focused on the back, and it's called the optic disc, and that's where you may have heard of rods and cones, and so we can differentiate between colour and black and white. Once that information is captured on the back of the eye, we need to move that to the brain. And so what we can see is a small nerve called the optic nerve, optic as in eye, that attaches to the back of the eyeball, and it takes the light information and turns it into an electrical signal that will then progress back to the brain, and you can make sense of that image. So just to go through, what we see is the eye is multifunction. We have tear production on one end, but its major role is capturing light through the pupil, moving the light back, refracting it back onto the back wall, and then turning that light into an electrical activity that's then passed to the brain for us to make sense. So that's what is happening every time you watch your favourite DVDs, video games, or essentially you're awake and you're looking at images around the room as we speak right now.